Hi, Mrs. Hensley's friends. I hope you guys are having an awesome day today. It is Tuesday, and Mrs. Hensley has been up working at the school, getting our classroom ready because we won't be in our classroom. When we go back to school, we'll be in another classroom. Well, actually, Miss Foster's class and I will be in the art room, okay? So Mrs. Hensley and Miss Foster have been there getting the classroom ready for you guys. So we're so excited and can't wait to see you all. Today we're going to be talking about a very important president. And you have learned a little bit about him already, and we're going to learn more about him, we're going to draw about him, and we are going to write about him. Miss Foster and I kind of held off on this because we wanted to do it in person, but we thought it's the beginning of March, we are just going to go ahead and do it on Seesaw instead of in person because we have other fun things planned for you guys when we're in person. So you're going to do your very best on these because they will be going in your portfolio at the end of the year. Okay? Anyway, let's talk about the president. We're going to read a story about the president. Okay? We are going to read a story about Abraham Lincoln. Okay? I know that you guys have already learned a little bit about Abraham Lincoln. Hopefully you can remember some of the things you've learned about him. Okay, so a picture book of Abraham Lincoln by David A. Adler, illustrated by John and Alexandra Wallner. Okay, so here we go. A picture book of Abraham Lincoln. Oh, it has a dedication page. It says for Gabriella Goldwyn, D.A., that is by David Adler, and many thanks to Kate, John, and Marjorie, J.W. and A.W., which is the illustrators, John and Alexandra Wallner. Okay, so there is the dedication page. Okay, here we go. This is a little bit messed up. Okay, hoping that you guys will be able to see all of it. Oh, there we go, that's better. Abraham Lincoln was born on February the 12th, 1809, in a one-room log cabin in Kentucky. Abraham and his older sister Sarah helped in the house and on the farm. When they were not needed at home, they walked 2 miles to school and 2 miles back. When Abraham was 7 years old, his family moved farther west to Indiana. Abraham helped his father chop down trees. They cleared the land for their farm and built new log cabins. When Abraham was 9, his mother died. That makes Mrs. Hensley sad. A year later, his father married Sarah Bush Johnston, a widow with 3 children. Abraham's new stepmother was good to Abraham. He called her my angel mother. That makes me happy. Abraham loved books. Sometimes he walked many miles to borrow one. When he plowed the fields, he often stopped to read. In 1830, when Abraham was 21 years old, his family moved to Illinois. Ooh, that's where Mr. Hensley is from. Abraham helped his father plant corn and build a fence and a new house. Abraham was tall and thin. He also was very strong. In 1831, he and 2 other men built a flatboat. They floated it down the Mississippi River to New Orleans. In New Orleans, Abraham saw a slave market for the first time. Black slaves in chains were being sold like cattle, which is cows. Seeing that done to people made Abraham miserable. He never forgot what he saw. So he did not like there being slaves being sold, which is a good thing that he did not like that. Abraham took a steamboat up to the river to New Salem, Illinois, where he worked as a clerk in a general store. He was 22 years old. Abraham laughed, told jokes and stories, and loved to talk about politics. People liked him. In 1834, Abraham Lincoln began to study law. 2 years later, he became a lawyer and moved to Springfield, the new capital of Illinois. Abraham ran for public office many times. He served in the Illinois legislature. For 2 years, he was also a member of the United States House of Representatives. In Springfield, Abraham fell in love with Mary Todd. She was lively and smart. They were married in 1842. They had 4 sons, Robert, Edward, William, and Thomas. In 1858, Abraham was chosen by the new Republican Party to run for the United States Senate. He ran against Senator Stephen A. Douglas. Abraham Lincoln spoke out against slavery. He and Senator Douglas had many debates. Lincoln lost the election, but the debates made him famous throughout the country. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln ran against Senator Stephen A. Douglas for President of the United States. This time, Abraham Lincoln was elected. That means he won. Okay, one president, one to be president. He was elected. When Abraham Lincoln became president, there were more than 3 million black slaves in the southern states. Voters in the South were not happy to have a president who hated slavery. Soon after Abraham Lincoln was elected president, 11 southern states withdrew from the United States. They formed their own government, the Confederate States of America. On April 12, 1861, Confederate soldiers fired on Fort Sumter, a United States fort in South Carolina. The war between the North and South, the Civil War, began. Abraham Lincoln led the war to keep the country united. During the war, Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation. It declared that all slaves in the Confederate States were free. He let all the slaves be free. So this sign says, slaves freed. Yay! That's exciting. In 1863, Lincoln spoke at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. His speech became known as the Gettysburg Address. He said, "Our government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." In 1864, the North won some important battles. Later that year, Abraham Lincoln was re-elected president. That means he was able to be president again. On April 9th, 1865, the war ended. The South surrendered to the North. The war had lasted 4 years. Many had died. Five days later, on the evening of April 14th, Abraham and Mary Lincoln were at the theater. 1 hour after the play began, there was a shot. John Wilkes Booth, an actor who favored the South, that means he liked the South, had shot the president. Lincoln died the next day. That's just the theater. Okay. A train carried Abraham Lincoln's body to Springfield, Illinois. Millions of Americans came to watch the train pass by to say goodbye to Abraham Lincoln. People called him Honest Abe, Father Abraham, and Savior of the Union. Some say Abraham Lincoln was our greatest president. I wonder why some people thought he was our greatest president. I wonder if it's because he was the one that freed all the slaves. That makes Mrs. Hindley happy. Should make you guys happy too. Okay, and in the end just shows important dates that Mrs. Hindley already talked about. Okay, now also I want you guys to see that Abraham Lincoln is also on a penny. So if you have a penny at home, you might want to look at it because he is on the penny. His picture's on the penny. So if you have a penny at home, they're brown, copper colored. If you have a penny at home, you might want to see if you can ask your parents if you can look at it because President Abraham Lincoln is on the penny. Okay, Mrs. Hindley is about to run out of time on this video. So I am going to get off of this video and start a new video. We are going to draw a picture of Abraham Lincoln, and then we're going to write about him. Okay, I will see you soon, very soon, friends.